Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Ryan Wilson. I'm the Executive Director of the Arizona State Chapter of NORML. NORML stands for National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, and it's what we do is we actually help reform marijuana laws within the state of Arizona. That's what our prerogative and mission is. And I'd like to introduce to you today, a nice team of, actually the majority of our board members here. We've got Mike Robinette, who's Director of Southern Arizona NORML and on the board of Arizona NORML. We've got Julie Gunnigal. Good morning, Julie. Julie is our Director of Politics and Civic Engagement. AJ is our Secretary, and John Udell is our Communications Director. Welcome, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
We've got some interesting topics to discuss here today in regards to some of the bills that are currently, actually being discussed here at this session. So I'm going to turn it over to Mike Robinette to give you a little bit more of an overview and to kick this meeting off.
Thanks so much, Ryan. As always, good morning, everyone, and greetings from Cattown, Arizona. Coming live north of Tucson, Arizona to all of you today. It's great to see everyone. Great to talk with all of you, Ryan, Julie, AJ, and John. Great to see you guys as well. Just want to mention, as you know, Lobby Week, if you haven't heard about it, Lobby Week is happening next week, February 8th through the 12th. I'll be on the phone all day, feverishly making calls to get to that number of 50, because right now we are at still 48 meetings. However, I'm fully committed to getting that number to 50. Also, you might recall, if you followed the progression of the series here, that we on Wednesday discussed the bad. And that's where we talked about the horrific DUI bill, HB2254. Yesterday, we actually then talked about, well, there's some good bills. So we talked about Representative Payne's research bill, 2298, HB2298, as well as Representative Powers-Hanley bill, which adds nurse practitioners and physician assistants to the list of individuals who can qualify patients. And today, we're going to talk about a couple of bills that are really important that have some flaws, but aren't necessarily bad bills. So we talked about truly what's bad, truly what's good. And now let's look at the nuances of a bill that is good, but could be better. And after that, we'll come back and again, talk to you about Lobby Week and how you can get involved. But with that, I want to turn it over to everyone, Julie, John, and AJ, to discuss two bills, which are the same bill. One bill's in the House, one bill's in the Senate, identical language. Those bills are HB 2154 and SB 1209, both which deal with adding autism spectrum disorder to the list of qualifying conditions to the medical marijuana program. And with that, Julie, John, and AJ, feel free.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to hop in first and just say that this bill squares with all of the good marijuana science that we have in terms of adding autism as a qualifying condition. This is what the Autism Science Foundation stands for. When it comes to pediatric use, this is what the American Academy of Pediatrics stands for. And we have so much good research that shows the benefits and the therapeutic nature of cannabis when we're dealing with the conditions related to autism. So as a starting point, I think we need to acknowledge that Rep. Espinoza, Senator Mendez, thank you. This is a really important issue that we should be talking about. And I think we need to be full-throated in the support of adding autism as a qualifying condition. But I think there's an awful lot more that we need to talk about when it comes to the how and the why and the nuances of this bill.
Yes, thank you for that, Julie. And with respect to those nuances, I'll provide a little bit more information about exactly what this bill would do. So first of all, it's not a bill that gives everyone with autism a right to a medical marijuana card. Only autism that causes agitation, rage attacks, or self-injurious behavior. So it's a little bit limited in its scope of who it provides protections to. It also requires for people that are under the age of 18 to be prescribed not just by any MMJ clinic, but by an actual pediatrician, and to have monthly appointments with that pediatrician to manage, for example, dosing. And to follow up on Julie's point about the importance of adding autism to the list of qualifying conditions, yesterday I talked a little bit about why anyone with a qualifying condition, it's good to consider getting or keeping your medical marijuana card. And for this particular qualifying condition, it's incredibly important because so many people who are affected by autism are under the age of 18. And of course, Prop 207 does not provide them with any protections at all. So right now they can still with a misdemeanor, potentially a felony for their possession. So it's incredibly important for all the families out there that are dealing with this to make sure that autism is added to the list. And with that, I'll kick it over to AJ to talk a little bit more about this bill from the perspective of a parent with a special needs child.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Thank you. Hello from, I don't know where I'm at. I pulled over on the side of the road, Gilbert. I'm not driving. But this bill is important for the autistic community. And it is also one thing to remember, as Julie pointed out, we have, there is good science out there that shows that the pediatric doctors and all that, but also these kids are not going to stay kids. They're going to grow up. They're going to get out there in society. They're going to become adults. And how many medical marijuana patients out there are adults are benefiting from medical marijuana in the same way where autistic kids can potentially, benefit from this. And that's, not kids, but just also moving into adulthood. The bill is not perfect, but it is a gateway and it is a doorway into getting some kind of relief for not only the kids at the moment and the autistic, population, but also for the families, and to help to assist them with their lives and their, quality of life for their family members and all that. And as the dad of autistic children, I could say that this bill, again, it's not perfect, but it does have some positives to it, and there are some things that can be improved upon. But this all leads to the greater conversation of the benefits of medical marijuana and how we need to have the medical freedom that allows us as parents and as adults to choose what medication we're going to, to give our children, particularly with the fact knowing that marijuana has never killed anybody. But, the pharmaceuticals that they want to prescribe do have some issues. So from a parent perspective, from this bill does have its positives, but as from an organization standpoint, we need to understand there is new one. So
I adore you, AJ. You always have something thoughtful to say. No, I mean, I so respect autism parents, and as a fellow autism mom, like there's issues I think that could be made better in this bill. Let me tell you a little bit like what my month is like living in a house with 2 ASD kids. Our appointments are crazy. Yep. We spend time at OT. We spend time with therapists. We spend time with neuropsychs. We spend time in IEP meetings. Right now, a lot of our services have been moved virtually because of COVID. Our days are stacked with appointments. And it's one of those things that makes me wonder if we're actually going to be able to do the good that's contemplated in this bill if there's restrictions like monthly check-ins with doctors who might not yet be able to take, that high volume of appointments that would be necessary. The other thing that I just kind of wanted to underscore and maybe think about is the way that this bill is phrased. It goes after 3 concomitant conditions that people with autism experience, but it's primarily those conditions that present with males. We know when it comes to females with autism, it looks different, and there's still therapeutic benefits for medicinal marijuana. And I think that this bill could be made even better if it addresses, those issues as well. Last, I also wonder, we have seen just in the 10 years since my child's diagnosis, huge changes in the standard of care. Right. When we see our doctors, when we check in for meds, that has changed dramatically over the course of a decade. And it makes me wonder if putting in, a strict protocol is going to help us as we know more. And hopefully we see that research bill from Representative Payne pass, and we know even more about cannabis and its therapeutic benefits. But I wonder if locking doctors into a specific regimen is a great idea when it comes to autism and how fast the science develops.
Again, being autism parents, I don't think locking us into anything is necessarily the greatest idea, because we need to be fluid and dynamic and able to, adjust on the go. And and the same thing goes with pharmaceutical medication. The doctors make their determination on dosing and such off of parent observation. And the medical marijuana, dosing is an issue and all that stuff. So I support the idea behind the regulation 100%. I support the idea of wanting to know what's going on with our kids, particularly with this issue that's going to affect them for the rest of their lives. But also, us parents need the ability to adjust. Us parents need the ability to, okay, this isn't working today, and all that. And I said, I fully support the idea behind it. I fully support the wanting to get the information, and it needs to be done. I'm 100% a supporter of as a parent of the research and all that good stuff. So, but the burden of monthly meetings and all that stuff, particularly with pediatricians and doctors and all that, who may not necessarily be on the same page as, other doctors, naturopaths and all that, who are more well-rounded in the medical marijuana field. So this is just one thing to consider, is the fact of how is this going to affect their licensing, and are they going to be willing to do it, and are they going to have the knowledge to do those things? So where this is, as a medical marijuana patient and as an autism parent, I could venture to say that the the autism parents know quite a bit more about the effects of marijuana on autistic kids, simply because we do the research specifically on that. We look specifically at those things. I said, and I'm 100% in support of the research, and I'm 100% support in the regulation of it. Like I said, I just don't know the best way to go about doing it, particularly when our kids are in crisis. And we need to, during this pandemic for everybody has been hard, for across the world. I'm not downplaying that. For autistic parents who have had our services cut back, schools taken away, autistic kids do not change routine very well at all. So this is just another effort to get our kids, and not just kids. Again, I know I always say kids and focus on kids, but there's plenty of adults out there who are autistic who could greatly benefit from this and the therapeutic effects from it. And also the regulation of the endocannabinoid system and how cannabis affects that and what it affects in autism, which is still groundbreaking research that's going on to find out the correlation between the two. So.
Yeah, I feel like we need to give a shout out to autism parents everywhere who are watching. This is really hard, and I hope on Lobby Day we are able to educate our legislators about why it's so important that we get these bills passed and potentially even make them better.
I agree 100%. And watching some of the caucuses and the meetings and everything online, I don't want to say misinformation, but the information that's coming isn't sometimes the best, because they don't have the best information. A lot of the politicians and legislators, I do give them credit. They're trying, they're doing the best they can with the information that they have. But yeah, this is where Lobby Day and us and everybody, all of our following, needs to step in and provide that good information. It needs to give the good context and good science and all that, and the anecdotal stories about how it affects and all that, and how it can improve everyone's quality of life. So
thank you so much, AJ and Julie and John, for all that valuable information, incredible points, and really, really thoughtful presentation of the information. So thank you so much. To parlay off of what everyone is saying, if we just stop now with this live stream, we don't accomplish anything. So Lobby Week is where we make that difference. And again, Lobby Week is occurring next Monday through Friday, February 8th through the 12th. And I can tell you the bills we'll be discussing are the two bills with relative to autism, 2154 and SB 1209. We'll also be discussing, which we've already talked about, the DUI bill, HB 2084. And lastly, we'll be discussing Representative Payne's bill to get good research to Arizona relative to medical marijuana and its efficacy. So those are the four bills we'll be talking about next week. And we'd love to have you join us, because our voices can't get it done in a singular fashion. We need voices from all perspectives coming into Lobby Week to discuss your concerns and to make points relative to these valuable bills that could really help to further benefit the cannabis community. So we urge you, please, Ryan, I know you've got ready to put the link up. If you're interested in joining us, Ryan's going to put a link up right now. Right now, he'll put a link up, and there it is. And so if you are interested in volunteering, you can certainly come join us at arizonanormal.org/volunteer. And we'll get back to you almost immediately. As soon as you submit your name and your information, We'd love to work with you next week. We're really excited to talk about these bills and make a big difference in trying to move the bills that we support forward and the bills we don't support backward and out of the hopper relative to the legislative session. So that's what we're about. And that is the essence and the epitome of reforming marijuana law and what we do as a state chapter relative to the National Organization of the Reform of Marijuana Laws, is to get into legislators' offices, in this case virtually, and talk with them about bills that affect us, our lives, our community, and personally relative to our lives moving forward in the cannabis community. So we want you to join us, and we'd love to have you join us, and we'll certainly guarantee you, at least 99% guarantee you'll have a great time doing it. And so with that, I'll turn it back to Ryan, and I'll just say 2 more meetings today, and we're going to get to 50, and we look forward to seeing you all next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Julie and AJ and John, for your expert, insight into, this extremely important topic of discussion. And just want to remind everyone out there that we are all volunteers. So every single member of this board is a volunteer. And, we couldn't do it without you and without your help. So any assistance, and I've been extremely impressed with the outpouring of support, and the signups so far from the volunteer perspective. So if you want to get involved, if you want to actually, be in a position where your voice is heard, join us for Lobby Week. Join us and make a difference. So thank you all, and we'll see you all. When's our next live stream, Mike?
To be announced.
Great answer.
That's a rather committed answer, but yeah, to be announced. We'll let you guys know.
Yep. So look forward to it, and we'll see you all here shortly. Thank you. Have a wonderful Friday, everyone.